All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Sean here at Zycel, and we're going to go ahead and get started with today's Nebula presentation. So this is a presentation we do roughly once a month, just because Nebula is the glue that sort of holds all of our other products together. It doesn't matter if you're buying our switches, our access point, our security appliances, our outdoor LTE routers. All of them are connected and can be managed through Nebula. So we figured it's a good idea just to sort of give people a brief introduction to Nebula every month. So if you've been seeing that term on the data sheets or in the interface and you were wondering what it is, today I'm going to help try to tell you what it is. So we'll start though by just giving a little bit of a brief background on who Zycel is. So Zycel has been making networking equipment for over 30 years. I think we're up to almost 35 years now. We got started all the way back in 1989. And that's pretty much all we do is make networking equipment and have for quite some time. Our headquarters is based out of Taiwan. We are a Taiwanese company. The US office is based out of Anaheim, California, and we've been here for 25 years or more. In the same neighborhood. We've switched buildings a few times as we've grown. Um, but when you call into Zycel for support, you're dealing with somebody that's a Zycel employee working out of our offices here in Anaheim. We do not farm you out to an overseas call center, at least during business hours. It's also where our sales and marketing are located and our warehouse is. So we've been doing this for a long time. We've deployed over 100 million devices out there, and we serve 150 different global markets. Now, Zycel is part of a larger Zycel group. Um, and this is an area I wanted to talk about just because it does cause some confusion at times. There is a Zycel Networks and a Zycel Communications. I am with Zycel Networks. So Zycel Networks is our branch that focuses on channel products, SMB products, switches, access points, that sort of thing. Zycel Communications is our sister company, and they are focused primarily on solutions for large ISPs. So COE equipment, CPE equipment, that's what their focus is on. And then one of our other sister companies is MitraStar. So that's our manufacturing arm. So we do own our own manufacturing. So they are based out of Taiwan, just like our parent company. And we do have manufacturing facilities in both Taiwan and China. Our R&D is primarily done out of our Taiwan office. There is some R&D done out of China. There is also R&D done out of our German office as well. So now that we've covered the background on who Zycel is, for those of you that are maybe new Zycel partners or resellers, we'll start talking about Nebula, which is why you're here. So we've been making Nebula for a long time. So we launched this to the public all the way back in 2016. So next year will be our 10-year anniversary. So we have been doing this for a long time. And in fact, we were the first cloud offering that was aimed at SMB space. Back in 2016, when we got started, really the solutions out there were normally only AP oriented, or in the case of Meraki, they were what we call a full stack. They allowed you to manage more than one type of product, but they were very squarely aimed at the enterprise space, which is where the main Meraki offering to this day is still located. So we saw what was going on in the cloud and said, this is something that would be handy for people that aren't enterprise, that don't have tens of thousands of units to manage. This would actually be convenient for people with just hundreds or thousands of units that need to be managed. So we got started on it. And like I said, we've been doing it since 2016, and we've been constantly improving it since then. This is kind of an old slide. There are well over 100 products today that do support Nebula. In fact, going forward, basically everything from Zycel Networks that is manageable is probably going to be Nebula integrated, except for maybe the most entry-level products. So when you're setting up a new network, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm not going to touch on each of these squares, but basically there's a lot of stuff you have to do, from choosing your equipment, configuring the equipment, figuring out remote access, figuring out logs and analysis, etc., that goes into deploying a new network. The idea behind Nebula is to take all of that and help reduce it for you. So there's less you need to buy, less you need to configure, less you need to set up. So you're saving yourself a lot of time and effort when it comes to setting up and managing a network. You're also saving yourself money because you need to buy less. So the main idea behind Nebula is, again, ease of management, ease of setting things up. So one of the cool things we can do with Nebula is you can start setting up and configuring your products without unboxing them. Most of our products that work with Nebula have a QR code either on the outside of the box or on the belly label of the product. All you have to do is scan that QR code, assign that device to a customer and site, and you're able to configure the device. So there's no need to take it out of the box. You can do the full configuration with it still sitting there in the box. Nebula itself has a number of different wizards and tools that are designed to make it easy to set up a new network, taking out a lot of the drudgery and the repetitive steps and doing it automatically for you. So to use Nebula, all you need to do is buy Nebula compatible hardware and have an internet connection and a web browser. There's no additional hardware you need. There's no cloud keys. There's no CNA devices. There's no special software you need. You don't need to set up a virtual machine somewhere. You don't need to have a Windows server running somewhere. Everything that you need to use Nebula is either built into our hardware itself or is hosted on our cloud that we're running for you. So with Nebula, you have easy access to all of your customers, all of their networks, anywhere you have a computer and a web browser. So Nebula itself has built-in user management. So we've got a cloud authentication server that's optional that you can use. And it allows you to do things like MAC filtering, 802.1x authentication, guest access via captive portal, things like that. So that's all built into Nebula. Nebula also has a very flexible and powerful captive portal system built into it. And one of the nice things about our captive portal system is it's built into the access points themselves. It does not require a gateway. So if you are using our access points, but you've got somebody else's gateway and you don't want to swap them out, that's fine. You can still provide full captive portal with guest access without needing to swap out the current gateway that you're using. And our captive portal is super flexible. It can be hosted by us. We've got some tools that make it easy to customize it. If you need more customization than what we offer, it's really easy. You can simply point to your own server somewhere. We give you the code that you need to integrate into your website, so you can add additional functionality yourself by hosting your own version of it. And when it comes to access, we've got lots of different ways to do that. You can do a simple terms of service agreement page. You can have them log in with a username and password you provide them. You can have them register their own account. You can even have them log in using Facebook. So with Nebula, everything is done OTA, over the air. There is no configuration that you should need to do to the device directly. You simply log into Nebula wherever you are, make your configuration changes, and they will automatically be pushed out to the hardware. That includes not only configuration changes, but firmware updates as well. On the wireless side of things, we have a very easy single-click wireless mesh. So it makes it really easy for you to expand out your wireless network to areas where you may not have the ability to run a data connection. So that makes it really handy if you just got a little holes in a couple places in your coverage. You can just pop in a new access point, put them in mesh mode. You're good to go. And with our new Wi-Fi 7 products, that mesh by default supports MLO, so multi-link operation, allowing you to make the mesh backhaul on multiple radios simultaneously. So if one of them gets overloaded, one of the channels becomes overloaded, or there has some sort of interference on it, the mesh will seamlessly also continue to send data over the other radio that doesn't. And of course, all of your industry standards are part of our wireless solution, from WPA3, dynamic pre-shared key, 802.11r, KV, etc. On the switch side of things, we give you some tools to make it really easy to visualize what's going on your network. As you can see here, you can easily look at the ports and be able to tell what's going on with them. You can tell which ports have something currently connected to them that's active. You can tell what speed those connections are and whether or not PoE is being provided over them. You can also see graphs over time periods that you select, showing you things like the uplink utilization, things like that. We can virtually stack our switches. You can simultaneously configure ports across multiple switches at the same time. A number of other fun tools that are built in there. And then this is just showing still while we're talking about our switches, we do have our network security options here as part of our switch configuration. So we have the ability there, for instance, to do 802.1x authentication on your Ethernet ports. So not just anyone can plug in any device they want. We've got tools such as LoopGuard, DHCP guard, so you don't have to worry about somebody plugging in their own server, or excuse me, their own router onto the network and trying to hijack your DHCP. As well as things like RSTP and stuff like that. So, one of the questions we get is how much does Nebula cost? And the answer to that is Nebula itself is free. There is no limit to the number of customers you can manage in Nebula, the number of sites you can manage in Nebula, or the number of devices you can manage in the free version of Nebula. We do offer some optional licenses that we'll talk about later that do unlock some additional features for you that you may want, but the core functionality is always free. And it's one of those things where you never get locked out of your hardware. So if at some point you're using our optional paid licenses and you decide to stop renewing them, all that happens is when those licenses expire, Nebula just drops back into the free mode for you. And again, free mode, unlimited number of customers, devices, and sites to be managed. So when it comes to Nebula, initially we used to do the Meraki Cisco thing where if you wanted traditional management, you bought Cisco. If you wanted cloud management, you bought Meraki. With us, it was you bought regular Zysil or you bought Nebula. That is no longer the case. Now we are doing what we call Nebula Flex. And basically what that means is that we have one line of hardware, and that line of hardware can either be traditionally managed or cloud managed based on your needs or your customers' needs and desires. We all know there's plenty of people out there that don't trust cloud management for whatever reasons. Um, and so maybe you've got some customers that you are cloud managing and some that don't want you to. That's fine. You can standardize on one set of hardware and use that same hardware still. Also makes it easy to swap out hardware between your customers. So the way it works is by default, all of our hardware is in traditional management mode out of the box. If you would like to manage it in Nebula, you simply scan that QR code using our mobile app, or you can do this manually through the web browser. And you basically just scan the QR code, assign the device to a customer and site. Once you have done that, our hardware will detect that you now want to manage that device in the cloud, and it'll automatically put itself into cloud mode and download the configuration that you've set up for it in the cloud. If at any point you don't want it to be cloud managed anymore, it's really easy. You go into Nebula, you remove the device from your inventory, and once you've done that, the device will automatically reboot in traditional standalone mode with factory default settings. So when it comes to Nebula licenses, we've got a couple different options here for you. So the main version here is free, right? As we've talked about, almost everything we've mentioned up to this point is part of our free Nebula management platform. We do offer optional Plus and Pro Pack licenses. So these unlock some additional features for you. Plus Pack is sort of designed to compete with some of the lower end cloud offerings that are out there now from people like Netgear or TP-Link Festa. So it offers some additional stuff that's not part of the free version, such as push notifications when devices go offline. Pro Pack is what we mostly sell for those that want more than just the free version. So Pro Pack is aimed primarily at MSPs, and it unlocks a lot of additional tools for you when it comes to things like logs, troubleshooting, diagnostics, things like that. So for those of you that are providing, managed services or preemptive support, Pro Pack is something you may want to take a look at. We also have a user type license, which is the MSP pack license. Now, this used to be a really expensive license. We have significantly dropped the price recently. So it's much, much more affordable than it used to be. But this is a per user license. So you buy this license for each user you want to have access to the MSP pack features. And basically, these features, as the name implies, are for those of you that are managed service providers. And it unlocks a new MSP view, which makes it easier for those of you managing a large number of customers to be able to keep an eye on them. It also unlocks a number of tools to make it easier for you to manage your employees and control which sites and which customers each employee has access to. And a number of other, quality of life type additional features for those of you with a large number of either customers or employees. So when it comes to the Pro and Plus pack licensing, they are a per org per device license. So what does that mean? So in Nebula speak, an organization is usually your customer. So if you have 5 customers, you will probably have 5 organizations in the Nebula interface, each customer being their own organization. So if you want to unlock the Plus or Pro tools, you will add licenses to the devices in the org you want to update. Now, this is not done on a per device basis. All devices have to have a license in order for the organization itself to convert to a Plus or Pro Pack organization. So once all of the devices have a license, it will then give you the button to activate Plus or Pro Pack, and it'll convert the org into a Plus or Pro Pack organization. So if you've got 5 customers and you only need Pro Pack for one, you only need to buy licenses for the devices on that one customer's organization. So this is just sort of a quick summary slide here just to show you here. We have our Nebula Flex products, which I was talking about a few slides before. We also have what you will see called Nebula Flex Pro products. And the only difference between Nebula Flex and Nebula Flex Pro is that the Pro units will come bundled with a 1-year Pro Pack license. That's it. Nothing else is different, just that there's a bundled license included with them. So just to summarize it really quick, on the access points, any of our access points starting with the letter N are Nebula Flex. Any of our access points that start with the letter W are Nebula Flex Pro. Now, the W series does have some other additional features that the N series doesn't, but as it pertains to Nebula, the difference here is just that 1-year bundled Pro Pack license. On the switches, our 1900 series cloud managed switches are all Nebula Flex, and our 2000, 1300, and 3800 series switches are Nebula Flex Pro. And when it comes to our security products, anything that is sold as a standalone device is Nebula Flex. Anything that is sold with bundled UTM services also includes that Pro Pack license. So now we've got a little quick comparison chart here. There is a much more detailed version of this that you can find on our website. It goes to the differences between the free version of Nebula called Base Pack, the optional Plus Pack, and the optional Pro Pack. So I am going to go through some of these. I will do it really quick. But just in general, access to plug and play installation or zero touch installation, whatever you want to call it, over the air updates, the ability to access and configure all of the main settings in your devices. These are all part of the free version of Nebula. The ability to set up firmware schedule updates, to be able to use 802.1x authentication, to use captive portal, again, all part of the free version of Nebula. Where we start to see differences here is when it comes to the logs. So there are only 24 hours worth of logs stored in the cloud on the free version of Nebula. Now, we do support syslog, so you can always export your logs to a syslog server if you need more than that. But as far as what we host and keep for you, it's 24 hours. Plus Pack gets you a week's worth of logs stored in the cloud. Pro Pack gives you a year's worth of logs stored in the cloud. When it comes to admin accounts, and these are done on a per org or per customer basis, free version of Nebula lets you assign 5 admins to the org. Plus Pack lets you assign 8. Pro Pack gives you an unlimited number of admins that you can assign on a per org basis. And then when it comes to our cloud authentication server, 50 entries for the free version of Nebula, 100 entries for Plus Pack, unlimited entries for Pro Pack. So some of the things here that Plus and Pro offer that free doesn't: advanced firmware scheduling, the ability to go in and set, a per device firmware schedule update, stuff like that. So regular firmware scheduling, all versions do. Advanced firmware scheduling, you need Plus or Pro Pack. Reporting, we've got some really great in-depth visual reports we can automatically generate and email to either you or your customers. Those require Plus or Pro Pack. And then we have an automatic topology view where we will automatically sketch out everything that's on your network, what it's connected to, and allow you to click on those devices and take some further actions. That requires Plus or Pro Pack. And then email or push alerts when devices go offline, that requires Plus or Pro Pack. And then ProPack itself unlocks a bunch of additional features that Plus doesn't have. And again, these are mainly aimed at those of you that are MSPs or providing more proactive management of your customers. So the ability to do cloning or synchronization of settings um, across sites in the same organization, the ability to back up and restore previous configurations. We give you an audit log, which tracks every configuration change, when it was made and who made it. That requires ProPack. And then access to our AI, machine learning, whatever you want to call it, for Wi-Fi and IPTV, that requires ProPack. So this is just showing you here, this is what that automatic topology view looks like. So this automatically is drawn out, showing you not only the Zycel managed equipment, but your client devices and anything non-Zycel related that is on your network and how it's connected. You can click on these and it'll give you some different action items that you can take. So dynamic pre-shared key is something that requires ProPack. And basically this allows you to set up a single SSID and have it just use pre-shared key, just like your home Wi-Fi network, but it allows you to create different passwords. So each user has their own unique password. And when they connect to the network and log in, it will look at that pre-shared key, and you can use that like you would normally use multiple SSIDs or 802.1x authentication, and automatically assign that user to specific VLANs based on the pre-shared key they use to log in. So it's a really easy to use alternative to 802.1x authentication. As mentioned earlier, we have artificial intelligence and machine learning that can automatically monitor your wireless network and can even make changes to your wireless network based on the behaviors we're seeing. And we have something similar to that also on our IPTV. We've already talked about this slide, so I'm going to skip that. Talking about security here really quick. So with Nebula Flex Pro, we have the access to collaborative detection and response. Basically, this is a zero trust type implementation that realizes that not all threats are coming from the WAN, some may be coming from your users. So this allows your Zycel access points to communicate and coordinate with your Zycel security router to provide additional threat protection from wireless users that are joining your wireless network. Also, our access points have the ability, even if you aren't using one of our gateways, to add what's called Connect and Protect Plus, which is UTM-like services just on a per access point basis. So the AP itself is providing the UTM-like services. And when it comes to setting up VPN, we make it really easy, whether we're talking site-to-site VPNs or end users being able to connect back to your parent companies over VPN. And with our secure Wi-Fi optional license, we have the ability to convert our wireless access points into cloud-managed VPN appliances, making it really easy to manage and deploy VPN connections for your remote workers. And then lastly here, Nebula does coordinate with our Secu Reporter reporting tool for our security products. So it makes it really easy to go from Nebula into Secu Reporter and then from Secu Reporter back into Nebula to be able to keep track of what's going on with your security appliances. So now just to cover here some of the common questions we get. So Nebula is hosted by us and we use AWS. So Amazon Web Services are who hosts our cloud. Because of this, there is almost zero downtime when it comes to our cloud hosted side of things. It also means, we have some of the security features also that AWS provides. But so the benefits to you means that, obviously you don't have to set up your own cloud or host anything yourself. AWS has infinite scalability, so no matter how many customers you get or how many devices or users they have on your network, Nebula will automatically scale to be able to support that for you. We get a lot of questions when it comes to, the privacy implementations of using the cloud solution. Give me just a second here. Sorry about that. So we get a lot of questions about when it comes to privacy and security and things like that. So Nebula can be used as part of a PCI compliant solution. It can be also used as part of a HIPAA compliant solution. And the reason for that is because your users' data doesn't touch our servers. Data that's intended to stay on the LAN stays on the LAN. Data that's intended to go out to the internet goes directly out to the internet. The only thing that's going between our hardware and our cloud is the logs and the configuration changes you're out. So that's the only thing being pushed between those. So we can be HIPAA compliant, we can be used in PCI compliant. And also because we are a global company, we comply with just about every country and region's personal laws when it comes to things like privacy and things like that. So if you've got a customer that's got European locations, Nebula in Europe complies with GDPR and there are other requirements when it comes to data privacy and stuff like that. So you're good to go there. We get a lot of questions, about the security of the data we are sending back and forth to our cloud. So rather than develop some protocol in-house and you just have to cross your fingers and trust us that we've done all of our due diligence, we actually use an industry standard protocol called netconf. So that handles the encryption and authentication to make sure the data being sent from our devices to our cloud is secure and cannot be interrupted or stolen. So just to summarize for you, when it comes to Nebula, easy to set up, unlimited scalability, cheap. It's free. The core version is free, and even the paid version is cheaper than just about anybody else's cloud offerings that are out there. Makes it easy for you to support your customers, to provide managed services to your customers, and to be proactive when it comes to them. It should be pretty easy to sell. It's a pretty straightforward product and solution. If this is sounding interesting for you, at any point you can go to Nebula. It's just nebula.zycel.com. You can log in, and we have a live demo. In fact, there's a button on the bottom of the page that says, I think it says Start Demo or Go to Demo. Click on that. It'll take you to some real live sites and give you read access only to them so you can play around with the Nebula interface and see the data that we're capturing. If you are a VAR or system integrator, you can get your hands on a 60-day demo kit. So we'll send you a gateway, an access point, and a switch, all Nebula managed, that you can play with for 60 days. And at the end of 60 days, you can send it back to us, or we'll let you keep it and we'll sell it to you at a significantly discounted price. And for that, you just need to talk to your salesperson here. So depending on where you are in the country, it's Andy, David, or Jacob, and they can help set that up for you. The actual process varies a bit between who your distributor are. So it is being done technically through the distributor. So for instance, if you use Target Distribution, you can order it directly through them. In the case of like D&H or Ingram Micro, there are some additional steps, and our sales guy will help take you through that. You do not need to be a current partner, although we highly suggest that you do join our partner program for that. And then lastly here, just wanted to highlight here that most of our webinars are recorded and automatically uploaded to our YouTube page. Since we are a global company, there's lots of different regional Zycel YouTube channels. So ours for North America is called Zycel America channel. In addition to webinars, we have product announcements, best practices videos, commercials, all sorts of cool stuff, video case studies that are there that you can check out. And of course, you can always connect to us on LinkedIn, where we are Zycel US channel. And with that, we're done. Questions, if you had any, you can send them in via chat or via Q&A. At the moment, there have no questions have come in, but I will stick around here for just another minute in case you're working on some or something's popped up for you. You can always also reach out to me directly. My email's up there on the screen. If you're dialed in, my email is Sean R. Sean is spelled S-H-A-W-N. So S-H-A-W-N-R at zycel.com. You can email me, or you can always reach out to your sales guy. Again, Andy, David, or Jacob, depending on where you are in the country. And they can try to answer the question for you. And if they don't know the answer, they can reach out to me or our sales engineer to get that answer for you. I'm not seeing any questions coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and end today's webinar. Thank you for showing up today. I hope I see you at one of our future webinars.